Well, there are many unanswered questions about the moment we're living in. It's a very confusing one, but increasingly on the left, there's only one right answer to any question: racism. Racism is everywhere, they're telling us. It's the sum total of everything. For many liberals, charging racism has become an almost involuntary habit, a tic, like saying God bless you after somebody sneezes. They may not even be aware they're doing it. Watch, for example, as noted TV person Jeffrey Toobin reduces the complicated meteorological phenomenon of hurricanes to a single word. Yes, racism.
Isn't the story that these people who died, apparently thousands of them in Puerto Rico, 3,000 as you point out, they're not white people? And they don't count to Donald Trump as much as the deaths of white people. I mean, you hate to say that about someone, but look at his record. Isn't that indicative of who he is and what he stands for?
I don't know.
It's not an especially surprising point. Lots of media people say things like this every day. What's so striking about this is that Jeff Toobin is doing it. He's not a bad guy personally. I've always liked him for whatever it's worth. And unlike so many other people you see on television, he is not stupid. In fact, Toobin once wrote the single best account of the O.J. Simpson trial. That's a book that these days he himself would likely dismiss as, you guessed it, racist. And that's actually the point. Like an awful lot of other people, Jeff Toobin is a product of the current moment, which also happens to be the dumbest moment in American history. And speaking of dumb, that's actually what the president called Maxine Waters. It's a claim supported by some evidence, but to Jeff Toobin, well, you can imagine.
But just how about this Maxine Waters stuff over and over again, low IQ? How racist is that?
Right. Toobin didn't explain how that's racist. In fact, if you need to ask, you probably voted for Donald Trump, which means you're racist too.
You know what? A lot of people like the fact that he's racist. And that's the thing that we need to acknowledge.
So how racist is Donald Trump? So racist that when he criticizes a group of political extremists comprised almost entirely of upper-middle-class white kids, that's racist too. Huh? Well, yeah, because the white kids wear black clothing. Get it? Black clothing. Which, of course, Trump hates because the clothing is black. Racism again.
Let's be clear also about what's going on here. The theme here is, I'm Donald Trump and I'll protect you from the scary black people. Antifa is widely perceived as an African-American organization. This is about black versus white. This is about Donald Trump's appeal to racism.
In yet another cable television appearance, Toobin called Donald Trump racist for criticizing Elizabeth Warren, who, like those Antifa kids, is also white, but also doesn't want to admit it. Pretty funny. Someday we're going to wake up, though, from all of this insanity and wonder what the hell happened. How do we get so stupid? Video clips like these will make for very embarrassing time capsules, like that bad tattoo on your leg or that tape of the rehearsal dinner when you got too drunk and insulted the bride. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Ugh. Well, Alex Jones has been banned from all tech platforms. Nobody said anything, so big text language police are getting bolder. According to the Center for Immigration Studies, Twitter refused to let the organization promote one of its tweets because it included the phrase illegal aliens. That's verboten, not allowed. Of course, illegal aliens was routinely used by the Obama administration to describe aliens illegally within the United States. Twitter, once caught, now says the block was a mistake and has been corrected. Mark Krikorian is executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, and he joins us tonight. Mark, thanks a lot for coming in. So before we get to Twitter, very quickly, the phrase illegal alien, which is off limits, and I think the AP has said you're not allowed to use it in news copy, et cetera. That's a technical phrase used on federal forms, is it not?
Sure. It's in the statutes, the immigration law. It's in the federal regulations, even in Supreme Court rulings. In fact, in the recent decision a few years back, U.S. versus Arizona, that was in the news, Justice Sonia Sotomayor used it in her ruling.
Wait, so, what?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a standard term of art. Illegal immigrant in the law doesn't mean anything because immigrant means you have a green card. Undocumented means nothing because obviously illegal immigrants have documents. So yes, it's a legal term throughout the government, in the law, regulations, everything.
Well, if Justice Sotomayor is using it, I'm using it. If it's good enough for her, it's good enough for us. So tell us what happened with Twitter.
Now, it's not nearly as bad as some other people have experienced. They didn't do to us what they've done to Alex Jones and others. Our tweets are still tweeted, and we don't seem to be shadow banned. But what we wanted to do is pay them to promote tweets. In other words, it's a tweet you've already tweeted, you pay them, and it's kind of like an ad, and they put it in other people's timelines as a way of driving traffic to your site. And so we gave them a bunch that we wanted to do that for. Some of them, they said, okay. Several others, they said, no, this violates our hate rules. And so it's like, why?
The phrase that Sonia Sotomayor used violates Twitter's hate.
Apparently, because they didn't even say that. See, that's the problem. We looked at them, and they all had illegal alien or criminal alien in them. And so we said, well, that must be it. What we did is sent them a nice note and said, please let us know specifically what's hateful about this, because other ones weren't, that you did accept money for. What's the story? And they just sent us back a kind of a boilerplate response that didn't even say, no, you can't use the word illegal alien. If that were the rule, at least we would know that was the rule. They seem to be almost capricious in this, or they're banning the use of it without saying that that's what they're doing.
So, but you've seen the same exact cycle of events with other people. So they'll ban somebody, they'll shadow ban somebody, they'll basically shut people's ability to speak right down. When caught, when exposed on television, usually on this channel, they'll say, oh, it was a mistake. We didn't mean to do that.
They haven't told us it was a mistake yet. I mean, I'm glad they responded to you, but our reaching out to them, we just got the usual, boilerplate response.
So we reached out to Twitter, and they said to us it was a mistake. They said the same thing to Caleb Hall from IJR, to Candace Owens.
Right.
When they
mistake du jour, basically.
So since you're involved in the debate over public policy every single day, how important are social media to people with, heterodox views, different views from the establishment?
I mean, this is the way the public debate happens nowadays.
Right.
This is the soapbox that we now have public debate on, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or other outlets like this. And I mean, there is no other place. If you can't talk on Twitter, or Facebook or what have you, what are you supposed to do?
So in other words, once they shut you down, people they disagree with, the debate doesn't happen.
Basically, that seems to be the point, in fact. Yes, exactly.
Why do you think, I ask this question every night, why do you think conservatives, especially in the Congress, don't see this as the mortal threat to debate and speech that it is?
I think some are starting to see it, but maybe not enough yet. I mean, Chairman Bob Goodlatte had a hearing on this over the summer and specifically addressed this issue that social media were trying to skew political debate and prevent certain voices from being heard.
Scary.
But it hasn't become a high enough priority issue, I think, yet.
We're going to try to change that. Mark, thanks very much for coming on and telling us what happened. We showed you in this program how Google